And we're going to get started in just a few minutes talking about travel hacks that you can use to make the most out of your vacation or your business trip. Not only that, when you get home, you want to be feeling good, you want to be feeling refreshed as well. So I'm sure we've all traveled, we've gone on a trip, either going to a vacation or a business trip, and we get there and we're just not feeling as great as we'd like to feel. And what's interesting is they've done some research on jet lag, and they looked at baseball players. And what they did was they looked at 40,000 Major League Baseball games, and they looked at the stats. And what they found is teams that traveled more than 2 time zones had fewer base hits. They had more strikeouts. They had fewer stolen bases. They also had more double plays happen to them, and the pitchers pitched more home runs. So it's really interesting, but they showed from these 40,000 baseball games a major hit to the performance of these baseball players. Now, the other thing you want to avoid these days is, I'm not sure how many of you read the different headlines of things that are going on, but we're seeing more and more craziness on flights. So passengers getting drunk, being very unruly. I just read a thing today. Actually, I didn't read it. I heard about it. It was in the Daily Mail, and a FedEx pilot had one too many drinks, and he was molesting the woman sitting next to him in a seat. So you want to be on the lookout for these things when you travel, and you want to avoid being that person that does something crazy. So I've got a list of different travel hacks that I'm going to share with you. But one thing to take note of is traveling from west to east tends to be worse than traveling from east to west. And the reason for that is because you lose time anytime you go from west to east. So keep that in mind. If you're traveling west to east, you're going to want to do more of these to ensure that you make the most of your trip. So number one should be very obvious to most of you, but number one is you want to hydrate. So you want to drink before your flight. You want to drink lots of good quality water, and you want to buy some bottles to bring on the flight with you. You don't want to have to depend on the flight attendant bringing you enough water, because they give you like a little 10-ounce cup, and that's really not going to cut it. So drink the best quality water you can before your flight. Then on the flight, buy a couple liters, and you want to drink as much water as you can during the flight. And then after the flight, you want to drink up too. So there's a lot of cosmic radiation on planes. Not only that, but a lot of flights today have Wi-Fi, and both these things are very dehydrating. So when we become dehydrated, it makes us tired, and a whole bunch of other things can happen. So number one is you want to hydrate. Next is you want to choose an aisle seat when possible. So the reason for that is you don't want to be too close to the window, because a lot of cosmic radiation comes through the windows. It can be very damaging, especially to your eyes. But number two is you want to be able to easily get up and walk around. So number three is you want to walk and stretch. So 2 is get that aisle seat so you can get up. If you have the window seat, you have a better view, but then, what if the people sitting next to you, you don't know them and they fall asleep? Some people they feel uncomfortable about waking somebody up so they can get up. So number 3 is you want to get up at least every hour. So you want to get up, just go up and down the aisle. And if you're comfortable in the aisle, touch your toes, do some different things, rub your legs. You want to keep your blood flowing. You want to keep your circulation good. And the reason for this is the Lancet did a research study. And what they found is that 1% of all air travelers develop deep vein thrombosis or a blood clot. Now, here's the interesting thing. These blood clots can happen on the plane, or they've been shown to happen up to 30 days after you fly. So do the math here. If you take 1% of all air travelers, that's millions of people. who are potentially getting blood clots lots of times up to a month after the flight. It's not being attributed to flying. So by getting up and stretching, doing different movements, you're going to keep your circulation up. You're going to significantly decrease your chance of getting a blood clot. Now, if you don't feel comfortable stretching out in the aisle, you can go in the bathroom, make sure you put the seat down, and you can do some squats. You can do some different stretching in the bathroom. I know it's very tight, but the key is you just want to get your blood flowing. You want to keep things moving. You know, I have been on a couple flights where they have different yoga moves you can do in your seat, where they'll play videos and they'll show you different yoga moves. I've only seen them on Air France, but other airlines may be doing them by now. So number 5 is no booze. So I told you number 1 is to hydrate, drink lots of water, but no booze, even if it's free. You know, years ago, just about any flight you went on, you could get 1 free drink, and international flights was like all you can drink for free. That's changed a lot, and that's a good thing because it's discouraging people from drinking as much. So even if it's free, you want to say no to the booze. A, because it dehydrates you. B, when you're traveling over time zones, your circadian rhythm is being thrown out of whack. That actually leads to an increase in mental issues. And I mentioned earlier that a lot of people that are flying today are, they have a few drinks and they're getting in fights. They're doing all sorts of crazy stuff. So 1, you don't want to drink because you want to be on the lookout for any craziness that's happening on the flight. But number 2, you don't ever want to be that drunk person that has to get escorted off the plane or something crazy like that. Next, I think I said 5 on booze, but that's actually number 4. So next is you want to watch the sunrise or sunset before your flight and first chance you get after your flight. And the reason for this is you want to reset your circadian rhythm. So I just mentioned before that when you have a disruption in your circadian rhythm, that increases mood disorders. So it can cause you to have more anxiety, it can cause more depression, or it can just cause you to just be a little loony and do something you wouldn't normally do. Especially now that a lot of flights today have Wi-Fi on them, you're in addition to having your circadian rhythm thrown off, you're also getting this excess electromagnetic radiation. So a simple hack you can do to help mitigate a little bit of it is number 1 is don't be on your phone the whole time on the flight, even if they have free Wi-Fi, which they normally don't. You have to pay for it normally, but minimize your use of a device that's using the plane's Wi-Fi because you're just creating more of those electric fields. And a plane is a metal tube, so all of that electromagnetic radiation gets trapped in the plane. Another thing you can do is take your shoe off and put your foot on the seat frame in front of you. That's grounded to the plane. That helps to discharge some of the electromagnetic radiation that you're picking up. Okay. Number 8 is you want to bring some nasal saline spray with you on the flight. And just remember, I think the limit for air travel for liquids is 3 ounces. So just make sure you're in compliance with the TSA or the limits wherever you live. But when you fly, it's very dry. So you're drinking water to help with the hydration, but your sinuses also dry out, and your sinuses are meant to be moist. And the reason for that is they actually capture a lot of pathogens. So a lot of people get sick when you fly because, people cough, they sneeze. You're in this metal tube, you breathe it in, and when you have a dry sinus, you significantly increase your chance of getting sick. So by bringing some saline nasal spray, you're lubricating, you're keeping your sinuses moist, you decrease your chance of picking up somebody's cold or cough when you fly. Okay, next is you want to eat a big seafood meal before and after you fly. The reason is all this electromagnetic radiation, these higher levels of cosmic radiation on the plane, they deplete your body of DHA. So you want to replace that by eating a lot of seafood both before and after the flight. Next, I should have made this number 2, but you want to bring a quality salt. I like to use Celtic sea salt because it has a good blend of minerals, but you want to add a quality salt to your water. This increases your body's ability to absorb it. It's also more protective against the additional electromagnetic radiation from the plane. So you can put it like in a little baggie or something, but add a quality sea salt to your water. That's going to help with your hydration. Next is you want to wear blue blocking glasses. So make sure you bring your blue blocking glasses. It's going to help you sleep better on the plane. Also, when you're flying, there's higher levels of blue light higher in the sky when you fly during the day. So you want to protect your eyes from that. So bring your blue blockers. And this is more for if you go to a tropical place or a new place, but you want to bring either an activated charcoal or a grapefruit seed extract. And that way, if you eat something bad, and also a lot of people get bad gas on the plane, and that's just from the pressurization of the plane. But one thing you can do to reduce your gas, if you don't want to be, ripping farts on the whole flight, is you can take some charcoal pre-flight. But also you want to bring either some charcoal or some grapefruit extract with you on the flight or on your vacation. So if you eat something that doesn't agree with you, you can take that and it'll greatly decrease your risk of getting either, sick or just not feeling that great. So charcoal absorbs toxins. Grapefruit seed extract is antibacterial, antiviral. So if I go to a place, especially like a developing country, I bring some with me because you don't always know about the quality of the water. If you do, like a drop of this a couple times a day, you're going to kill any bacteria or viruses that you might consume through either the water or the food. So those are the hacks. Let me see if I have any questions here. Let's see, Catherine Conradi made a comment. I travel now twice a year to Europe, have a lot of trouble to adapt. Took me a few weeks of recovery after my return. So I do CT days before and hydrate as much as possible. Awesome, Catherine. We buy the best water we can find before boarding. The traveling messes me up big time. My husband once over there gets up early for walks and to greet the sun. He manages better. I'm stuck in bed. So Catherine, I want you to encourage your husband to wake you up so you can greet the sun as well. That's going to help you. One other kind of tip for when you're buying water in the airport, since you can't bring your own water on the plane, some of the lower deuterium waters, one is going to surprise you, is Aquafina. So Aquafina is actually a lower deuterium water. Some people that have tested it have told me that it's around 130 parts per million. Now another one is Evian. That is, I think that's around 138. And if you can get like an Icelandic spring water in the airport, that's good too, but I don't really see that often. But Aquafina and Evian are pretty common in most airports around the world. So I hope that helps. So when you go on your vacation, you want to maximize that. You want to feel as great as possible. If you travel on a business trip, lots of times it's for a presentation or you're meeting a new team. You want to put your best foot forward and you want to perform as best as possible. And you want to do this pre-flight and post-flight on the way home, because there's nothing worse than going on a great vacation, feeling amazing, getting totally refreshed, and then you get home and you're dragging and you have, a bad couple of days of work. Now, if you're a busy professional or entrepreneur and you're feeling overwhelmed with your health, your energy is not where you'd like it to be, you're not as motivated as you'd like to be, and your goal is to create a lifestyle that builds a solid foundation of your health, that provides you consistent energy and the drive you need to succeed in your career, profession, and life, I have an invitation for you. I want to give you the opportunity and possibility to see if you'd be a good fit for my mentorship program the Optimal Health Protocol. And the way it works is I work with you hands-on over the course of 12 weeks. I provide you coaching, accountability, and most importantly, guided support through 4 key elements. So element number 1 is self-image design. And what happens is when we've been dealing with a specific issue for a long time, let's say we have too much weight, we have some kind of chronic illness, maybe it's chronic fatigue, maybe we don't sleep well, or maybe we're just not that motivated, that literally becomes a part of our self-image. And what happens is we get really motivated to make a change. We try some new things, and maybe we're having great results. And what often happens is we tell ourselves the story that we've been telling ourselves for so many years, and that can literally cause us to relapse. So what I do is work with you to create a new self-image that aligns with the person you want to become and supports your changes along the way. Does that make sense? So element number 2 is energy optimization. So in energy optimization, we look at your optimal nutrition for you. It's totally customized. We also look at biohacks, breathing techniques, and also meditation to provide you the consistent energy you need. And we also look at what you need to remove that's impacting your energy, so you eventually over time build a solid foundation of energy so you can do all the things you need to do. Element number 3 is my brain gut protocol. So the first part of that is we need to get your gut healthy so that when you eat food, you can actually absorb the nutrition. So a lot of people, just from eating a bad diet for so long, you eat food and your body's not able to absorb the nutrition and you're not getting all the benefits from your food. The second part is optimizing your brain. So your brain is supporting your focus and concentration and also giving you the drive you need to succeed in your life and whatever it is you're trying to do. And the last part, number 4, is lifestyle integration. And lifestyle integration, I help you seamlessly integrate these practices and these actions to make them a part of your life so that being a healthy person is who you are rather than who you're trying to be. So I'm giving you the accountability, making sure you're not taking on too many things at once and getting overwhelmed, and making sure you're doing things in the right order so you maximize your results and you create a lifestyle that's going to build you a solid foundation of health that's going to serve you for the rest of your life. So if that's something that interests you, send me an IM, we can talk. And that's what I got for tonight, folks. So thanks for joining in. Thanks for your comments. And my next Facebook Live, I think I'm going to do on hacking testosterone. So guys, this is especially important for you, but ladies, you need testosterone too to be optimal. So join me next week. We're going to talk about optimizing your testosterone and other hormones. And have a great week. I'll see you then, guys. Bye.